And so we kind of left off in December talking about recruiting. So we went over a recruiting mindset, building a healthy pipeline. And then tonight we're going to be talking about attracting your rock star. And this is like a series that if you haven't done the last two, you definitely should. They are on YouTube and they are inside this group. Okay. And I'm going to try to make them so that they're underneath the guide section. So it's super easy for you guys to just kind of go in and figure out where they are, right? So tonight we're going to talk about attracting your rock star. And I don't know about you, but do you need help with recruiting? Do you want to recruit? Do you want to build a team? Do you want to have, members and friends to do this with, right? That was the biggest thing for me was when I started, I was like, well, wouldn't it be really cool if I could do this with some of my friends? I mean, how many people can actually say that they can work with like one of their best friends, right? So I just kind of thought that that was like really cool. And I remember one of my friends, a dear friend from college, I mentioned the business opportunity to her and I said, wouldn't it be really cool if like one day, now this is when we first started and the company was just opening, and saying, wouldn't it be awesome like one day if we were sitting on the beach, and Color Street paid for us because like, at that point we didn't have like incentive trips. But we did say, hopefully it'll be coming. Can you imagine if we were cheersing on the beach like with margaritas? And we did. We both made it to the first incentive trip, which was like a cruise. And we were sitting on the beach and we were like, I can't believe we made this happen. And I think that's one of the perks of network marketing that people kind of don't get, is that like you can ask like your sister, your mother, your cousin, your best friend, your neighbor, anyone you want to hang out with and say, hey, let's do this business together and possibly be able to go on a free vacation together. To me, I thought that was magical. So that's just one of the perks. But all right, so let's get to the training. Attracting your rock star. So what we need to start doing is speaking to our ideal target team member, right? You need to identify the person who you are speaking to directly, right? So when you are speaking to like just everyone, they will say like you're speaking to no one, or it's almost like it's too loud, right? So what you need to think about is who is the person that you want to talk to, right? And once you found her, right, that's when it's so much easier to write content and to kind of stand out, right? So you have to find out who is that ideal person that you want to speak to. So that's what kind of like what we're going to be talking about today is like the different questions, because when we use social media, right, to attract our ideal teammate, you have to speak to them a certain way, because most of the times they're not going to see that first post and say, oh, let me join, right? They need to kind of see you consistently over time and see you and see you and see you. And then they're like, okay, wait a minute. That's the post that made me want to join, right? Some people need to hear it 7 to 10 times before they're even thinking about it. Okay. Well, there is one thing that I really want people to kind of stay away from saying, and that is saying that this business is easy, right? Anyone can join my team. It's super easy. And even though that's true that anyone can join your team, saying that it's easy is kind of like not telling the truth, right? And what you need to say is that it is easy and it is fun, right? But you do need to work to get to that place, right? Like when I go on a leadership retreat or conference or an incentive trip, that's fun, right? That's like so much fun. But I have to do the work to get there. It just doesn't magically happen, right? So I don't want you to put out like a false thing. Like you can put out that, yes, I went on a trip and it was super fun, but man, I worked for it, right? Because when you're saying things like, oh my God, yeah, it's super easy. Like I'll get you started and you can just post and pray and post. Like we know that doesn't work, right? And the last thing that you want to do is to put time and effort into people that are either going to quit, to check out, or even worse, ghost you, right? So those are the people that you don't want to attract, right? So like I said, the business is super fun and there's a ton of perks, but it's not all the time, right? Everyone has to do some work to earn the rewards. Don't be afraid to tell people it's a job, right? So when you're making your post, you need to be super specific and detailed, all right? So in order to attract your ideal team member, get clear on who that person is. Create content for that specific person, right? When you have that person in mind, speak right to her, right? Every single time, or him. I'm just going to say her for just the sake of just not saying her, him, and all that, okay? What you want is you want that person to be shaking their head. Yeah, yeah. Every time that she reads your content, she's shaking her head. Yes, 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 yes. That's either like, that's me, or I want that, right? Because that's what you want. You want that, you want to get so inside that person's head that they're like, is she inside my head? How did she know that? Right? Have you ever had that epiphany? There's certain times, I'll never forget, my husband and I were at church and the pastor was talking about something and I was like, okay, was he in my house? I didn't know this, right? I was clearly his ideal person to talk to, right? And that's kind of the content that we want to put out there. All right, so first up, you need to paint a picture of what you do and don't want, right? So I want you to really think about the people that you want to sit at like your table. What are they like? What are their core values? For example, do they have families? Are they negative? Are they positive? Do they bring drama to the table? Are they talking about others, right? So when you think about what I want, this is what I want you to think about. So like, for instance, people that care about friendships, are they honest? What's their work ethic? That's kind of huge, right? Like I want a person that's going to do whatever it takes to get it done, right? I want excellence. I want, they're not afraid to fail forward because they're just willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. And I know that sounds like kind of crazy, right? But like for me, when I started in this business, a lot of people will say to me, well, I don't have time. And I'm like, yeah, like I was working full-time at the hospital. I was commuting over 2 hours every single time I went to the hospital. I own my own photography business. I have 3 kids that were super, like my oldest at that point was 14. So it was like 14, 11, and like 8. Like I was in the busiest season of my life. And I saw the vision of what this company could do for me. And I did anything and everything I had to do to get it done. So I had specific tasks that I was going to do, and I wasn't going to bed until it was done, or I'd be waking up early to finish it. And that's the type of person that I want in my organization, right? So think about that, okay? Because when I write content, I'm going to be writing to that person, right? I don't want the person who's just kind of lackadaisical being like, yeah, I never kind of got to it. Yeah, I was too busy. Like, to me, that's an excuse, right? To you, it might not be. That could be your ideal person. For me, it's not. So see how we're attracting different people, right? So, what kind of, parent are they? What's their relationship style? Like, what do you value and what do you share? Like, do you share the same values, right? So speak to like really like who you are, like what is your truth like in this moment in time, right? Because we're constantly evolving, right? But be totally authentic to who you are, right? Are you multi-passionate? What do you do in your free time? Do you go shopping? Do you go to the movies? Where do you hang out on social media? What do you desire? Do you desire financial freedom, time freedom, community? Like, what is it, right? Write it down, right? So, because when you know who that person is, it's way easier to write content, right? Because you're more specific. right? You're getting more into the details. All right, so after you know who that person is, now you need to know what problems does she have. So when you think about, some examples could be like, for writing your social media post, right? Like, is she a stay-at-home mom, right? Maybe she wants to be part of a community. So really kind of discuss, like, how does this community make you feel, right? Is that like a top priority for you? If it's like, if you're talking about like maybe time, right? Think about, does that person have really young kids or do they have teenagers, right? Are they managing like household tasks? So like, when is she going to find time to do a business like this, right? Like, so for me, I had to talk about my time management skills, right? Like, I was time management to like the T, right? And I kind of took what was the most important things, and those were the things like, do you ever read that book, like Eat That Frog? I took the main point and I was like, that's what I'm going to focus on, is enrolling, enrolling and enrolling some more. But that's like what I focused on during that extremely busy time of my season, right? But I did the time management skills to get it all done. How about if you talk about confidence, right? Is it a person who believes in herself, right? But maybe she like she needs somebody to show her what to do. So like, you could write a post saying like, right now, like maybe like your finances are kind of tight, and give solutions on how, making extra money can kind of wipe that away, right? What you want to do is be super descriptive about the problems, because you want to be able to say like, this is what you can do to overcome them, right? What problem are you solving for your ideal teammate, right? So those are the things that you want to think about, right? Think about like, what does she desire? What does she want more out of life? And like, what solutions, right? What are the solutions that you can offer, right? Because, there's a lot of people out there that need that extra income, that they don't want to leave their home, right? So if they can do it at night, like they can have all of their nighttime routine, maybe they could say to their husband, like, okay, can you put the kids to bed at 7 so I could work from 7 to 10 or 7 to 9 or 8 to 9 or 8 to 10, right? You can kind of talk about that, right? So figuring out those type of solutions. You also want to think about too, like, how are you going to, because this is a great one to think about, like when you're attracting your ideal rock star, right? Are you the type of leader that's going to give them like step-by-step instructions for starting their business? Do you mentor one-on-one? So like for me, when a new stylist joins, they don't go into my team space. It's just her and I for 95 days, because I really want to focus on the jump starts. And I really want to focus on building an extremely strong foundation, right? So first of all, we go over like the VO, and then we have little checkpoints and goals as we go, right? And I always tell them, this isn't a race, right? It's not a race, and we're going to get there. And once we do, you're going to come into our team space that has a huge community of supportive women, right? So when I'm talking about the business opportunity, you'll even see it like on my stories and whatnot. I will say like, you're not going to be left alone. It's going to be me and you. Like, I'm going to hold your hand for 95 days, right? Until you feel like you feel, and if she needs more than 95 days, I'm a message away, right? But what my purpose is that I want to make sure that that person feels super strong and supportive. And that's what I'm telling them out in social media. I am saying like, I've got you. You're not going to feel alone, right? It's always just her and I, her and I, her and I, right? Until she feels like she can fly, right? So, every time that you're getting ready to post about the business opportunity, I really want you to think to yourself, like, get into the shoes of that woman that we kind of just described, right? You have to ask yourself, what does she need to hear from you at this point in time so that she can be shaking her head yes? And think about it. It was you when you first started. What did you need? What were the problems that you had that you wanted to join this business? And it doesn't always have to be financial. It could just be that you loved the product and you thought, well, this would be really cool to be part of something, right? Talk to that, right? Your ideal stylist is really you just a little while ago, right? Or when you started or whatnot. It's like really, really important that you guys think about this. I have this huge checklist. You guys are gonna die. All right, let me see if I can get on here. I like named her. I'm a little weird, but let me see if I can get to her so that you can see, so that you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. All right, you guys are gonna laugh. She's famous. That's my ideal customer. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. You guys are gonna laugh. This is for jokes, but not really, because this is my ideal customer. Okay, so this is my client. All right, I have Rachel Zoe there, but Rachel Zoe is not really my ideal client, right? I mean, she's like a multimillionaire. No one's her own business. But that's kind of like the person that I really want to attract into this business, right? I want to attract somebody that is super confident, a businesswoman who wants to go for it and knows that she can, right? So here's my client. She grew up wanting more. She saw her parents struggling to make ends meet and wanted to change that. She wants to feel like she can walk into any store and buy what she wants because she can. She wants to feel like she can take care of not only herself, but her family financially and emotionally. Busy mom wants more time for herself and her family. Working from home or anywhere in the world. Having a home base near the ocean and living remotely around the world. Super into fashion, but not all super expensive things. A mix and match of both. Hair and makeup as well. Love having her nails done because it completes the outfit and makes her feel good. It's like having a ribbon and bow on a present. Loves hanging out with family and friends. Red wine is life. Martinis are fun and mudslides are just a good time. Working out is her drug of choice. Cycling and hot yoga are an absolute must, along with some weight training and only running if someone makes her. Meditation and crystals are something she is slowly trying to get into. Actually, I'm really into it now. So I don't know when the last time I actually redid this. Along with living in high vibe state at all times with feeling peace in her body. Her fears, failure, not believing in herself, those successes are for someone else. Tried network marketing and failed. She doesn't have the confidence in herself. Those are her fears, her pain points. Doesn't have time to go to the salon to get her nails done because she is busy. Doesn't want to spend money on that, maybe on trips, day at spa, and not getting nails done on the regular. The crave time freedom, well, craving probably time freedom and financial freedom is going to bring them to the next level. Season of life. She is raising her children and needs to make sure she spends quality time with them. She has a supportive husband. She is busy and he doesn't want her more stressed, but she is looking for more. She's commuting to work and doesn't like it, and she knows she's capable of more. So I was at the hospital when I did this. So this has been a while. Who am I helping? Successful women who are killing it, but super depleted and feel so empty inside. They want more time freedom and want to build an empire. She is in her 40s with a family living in Southern California, making around 6 figures and has about 10 hours a week to put it towards the business. She loves fashion and Rachel Zoe. And wants to provide more income to her family. She loves yoga, pickleball, long walks on the beach, and of course, hanging with friends with a great glass of red. She loves the beach and goes as often as she can. She loves Motown music and listening to crime podcasts, loves the movies, concerts, comedy shows. Her Insta feed looks like fashion with nails and makeup. Okay. That's my ideal rock star client, stylist, whole 9 yards, right? So every time I'm writing content, and it hasn't happened all the time, but I should take the time to read that before I am creating content. Because if I spoke to that girl, do you see how different I'm going to speak to somebody else who's not into yoga, meditation, crystals, walking on the beach, like somebody else could be like in the mountains, drinks beer, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not my person. Now, can I attract that person? Of course I can. Like, but if I'm talking to this specific person, like, do you see how detailed that is? Like, if I could speak to just her, she'll be shaking her head like, hell yeah. Yeah. How about that? Right? So it's just super, super important to take the time, right? To do these little tasks so that when you are writing your content, it is going to speak to the exact person that needs to be like, that you need to attract to you. Okay. All right. I hope that all makes sense. So, all right, I'm just getting onto the page to see if there's comments. I want to go post now and say who is crazy busy and tell them I want them on my team. Those are the people getting shit done, right? Carmen, I totally agree with you. It's so funny. I feel like now that I don't work at the hospital, I'm like, who am I? I feel like I got more done because I was under the gun. It was like, and not that you want to live in this high pressure, but man, I was like, boom, 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 to the point where like now I have a strict system that I go through every day. Cause I kind of felt like I was like not getting anything done, but yet I had all day to do it and just wasn't working for me. So I'm awesome. Virginia. Oh, good, good, good. Love light. This is awesome. All right, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, I would love to like do the exercise, do it for like the week. I'll come back next week is going to be like another recruiting tool, and come back with your ideal customer. Just put it on the team page, have it somewhere to just reference back. But I would love to know who your ideal customer and Rockstar is, because it would just be kind of fun. Fun. You guys saw mine. I was totally vulnerable, but here it is, right? All right, guys, I always try to make these short and sweet, and I'm usually trying to like do like 15, 20 minutes. I'm way over. So I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye, guys.